All right, so the first thesis that we're going to be looking at, number 1, is just reference. We call it just a non-thesis. So what does a non-thesis look like? A thesis is supposed to take a position on an issue. Think of it as like a topic sentence on steroids, right? It's a larger, more comprehensive thesis statement or topic sentence. Because your topic sentences are supposed to make a claim. That's the same thing that your thesis is, except for the thesis is the claim for your entire paper. The topic sentence is the claim of your paragraph, and a paragraph is like a mini claim or support for your larger thesis. So it announces the topic, your thesis, announces the topic, the argument you want to make, or the point you want to prove. So it's pretty much everything. The non-thesis thesis is where it just kind of states a topic. That's pretty much it. So here's the first example of a non-thesis thesis. So that is, in his article, Senator Ben Sasse argues that teenagers should work in the summer. Well, no kidding. That's pretty obvious. Like, that's not a position. You're telling me what Ben Sasse thinks. You're not telling me what you think. So that's not a thesis. Instead, that might not even be your topic. Like, generally it's maybe the general topic, but the reason this is a non-thesis is because there is no argument. Where is the argument here? That makes me sad. So how do we make this better? Let's take a look here. Senator Ben Sasse's argument that coddling teenagers shields them from the real work, so that's the general topic, okay, ignores. Okay, so that is the statement of importance. That's the thing that starts to introduce the actual argument itself. You're making a value judgment, an assessment about what he said. You're saying that he ignores something, so now you're telling me that there's something wrong with his argument. So his argument ignores the many young adults who do work in order to participate in the real world, as the income helps pay for necessities like transportation, clothing, and post-secondary education. All right, so this is the actual argument that the student is making, all right? So they're going to argue, the first part of their paper is going to say, yeah, like, this is what he says, and there's proof of that, so that's going to be one body paragraph, right? So I'm actually going to put like a 1 here to illustrate that that's one part of the paper, right? So that's going to be one paragraph. So this is what he says. Now I'm going to assess like the reasons why he's wrong. Like, they need to work. They need to work for necessities, right? So that's going to be the second part of my paper. So this paper is at least going to have 2 body paragraphs. What Ben says and why it sucks. Now, this could potentially be split into other parts of a paragraph, or parts of a paper, multiple other paragraphs. So you could even say like that they work, right? So there's one section. I'm actually going to underline this. So this could be one paragraph, how they work to gain income, and then another paragraph could be the reason they need this income. So I could see this thesis representing a paper with 2 or 3 body paragraphs. At least one body paragraph that talks about Ben Sasse's argument and what he says, and then another section of the paper that's going to talk about why he's wrong. And that section could be 1 or 2 paragraphs long. So it could be 1 paragraph to talk about what they do, like that they actually do work, and another paragraph as to what the reasons are for that work. So this is a stronger paper because I'm seeing it broke into sections, and I'm seeing an argument that is definitely broken into sections. I see how this paper is going to be organized. Let's take a look at the second poop-tastic thesis here, the Bad Thesis Number 2. This paper will consider the advantages and disadvantages of teenage employment in the summer. Well, that's great. You're telling me the topic, but I don't know. Are you going to fall on the advantages, or are you going to fall onto the disadvantages? Like, are you saying it's good or bad? And you also never reference the paper. That is bizarre. Don't say this paper or this paragraph. You don't say this. Like, that's not good. Don't say this paper. It's almost like the paper is becoming like sentient and being able to think and talk about itself. It's weird. Just don't. It's the paper talking in third person. I mean, in general, people who talk in third person are weird, so don't let your paper be weird. So then what you do is, how do you fix this? Go to Better Thesis Number 2. Let's see what the topic and the argument is. Even though there may be considerable advantages to encouraging teenagers to challenge themselves over summer vacations. All right. So that's one section. So they're starting with a transition here. Even though, so that's telling me that they're about to say something in response to this, that this is not good. More serious problems arise when students are not given the opportunity to relieve themselves of the more strenuous social and academic pressures of today during these summer breaks. So, this is the crux of their argument. What color do I want it to be? Ooh, we'll do purple. So I see at least two sections. And now this second section, I could see how they need a break from social stuff during the summer and academic pressures. So I see two sections and at least 3 body paragraphs. You're going to be discussing here are some things that summer vacations may be good, like ways that they could challenge themselves, but ultimately it's better to take a break because one body paragraph about social stresses and then another body paragraph about academic pressures. So this is much better because now I've got a thesis that's got telling me 2 different sections with 3 different body paragraphs. 1, 2, 3. So, the next video is going to be talking about number 2.